Following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFN Geek, and tonight I am bringing you a review of one of the more, for lack of better vocabulary, lackluster figures of the Transformers Kingdom line. It is Deluxe Class Shadow Panther. Now, a lot of Transformers fans and collectors have had mixed feelings about Shadow Panther. It's not that Shadow Panther is one of the lousy figures of the Kingdom line the way Trax and Rhinox are. It's the simple fact that even though Shadow Panther was given a figure in the original Transformers Beast Wars line, and just like the Kingdom figure here, Shadow Panther was a repaint of Beast Wars Cheetor, done in all black. So instead of a cheetah, he's a panther, as his name actually has the name of that big cat in it. But one of the main complaints that Transformers collectors have had with Shadow Panther is that he is a repaint and a retool of Cheetor, and during the past few years, there's 99% of Transformers action figures that are repaints and retools of previously released figures. They're released as exclusives here in the United States instead of mass retail, and a lot of Transformers fans and collectors have pointed out they would have preferred if Pterosaur, as an example, would have been released as a mass retail figure and Shadow Panther been released as an exclusive instead of the other way around, since Shadow Panther never appeared in the original Beast Wars cartoon series, nor has he appeared in the Kingdom Netflix series that was released several months ago, and a lot of Transformers fans and collectors have said that the main reason they're collecting Shadow Panther is just to go completist on the Kingdom line. I've seen some collectors say their main decision for collecting Shadow Panther is because you can literally count using the fingers on your hands the number of Predacons that were given figures in the entire Kingdom line, both the exclusives and the ones sold at mass retail. And of course, above all that, the one sculpted difference Shadow Panther has to distinguish him from Cheetor. It's hard for me to get a good angle at it without my camera reflecting off the plastic window on the box, but Shadow Panther, you can see here by his artwork, he has a brand new head sculpt. Now, the original Transformers Beast Wars action figures had a flip face gimmick where they had a more humanoid face and then they had a more monstrous looking face that was known as the mutant face. And for the Kingdom line, because that gimmick of changing faces was never used in the original Beast Wars cartoon series, I believe it was Mainframe Studios was the name of the animation company that worked on the original Beast Wars cartoon, but they decided to have some of the Transformers characters either have the more humanoid face or the more mutant looking face instead of having them switch back and forth between changes, because it was a gimmick that they felt wouldn't really work for the cartoon series. So here for the Kingdom line, Shadow Panther has been given the mutant head that actually did exist on the original Beast Wars Cheetor action figure. Some of the Beast Wars characters that used the humanoid face in the Beast Wars series included Cheetor, Tigertron. It was mostly the deluxe class and Voyager class sized figures in the Beast Wars line that had the mutant face gimmick. Beast Wars Megatron was one of the few leader class figures that had the mutant face gimmick. They gave Megatron the more humanoid looking face, since it made him look more like Generation 1 Megatron, and one of the Transformers characters that had the mutant face as the standard face in the Beast Wars cartoon was Waspinator. Waspinator also had a more humanoid face, and in the upcoming, it's either the Legacy or the Studio Series line, it's been shown that Waspinator is going to be repainted into Beast Wars Buzzsaw, I believe is his name, and he will have the more humanoid looking face. So yeah, the repaints, the action figures that are repaints and retools in the Kingdom line, the Generation Select line, and the upcoming Legacy line of Beast Wars characters. Some of them will either have the mutant or humanoid face of previously released figures, so in case any of you are wondering why is the only face sculpt, why is a new head sculpt the only change in the mold, and everything else is the same, that's the reason why. It's a tribute to that gimmick that the original Beast Wars action figures had back in the 1990s. So here's Cheetor inside his box. There's the artwork of him in his beast mode of a panther. Here he is in his robot mode. And there's the mutant face that he comes with. the upcoming Golden Disc version of Tigertron that transforms into an orange tiger. It has the mutant face just like Shadow Panther does, and there are some similarities between the head sculpt used here on Shadow Panther and the one that's being used on the upcoming Mutant Tigertron action figure being released in the Amazon exclusive Golden Disc line. So here on the back of the box, you've got your product photos. You've got Shadow Panther in his robot mode and in his beast mode of a panther. And if there are any transforms back and forth between both modes in 20 steps. So on this side of the box, you've got the poster image for the Kingdom line. And here on the top of the box, Shadow Panther is, of course, a Predacon. And yes, that's pretty much it. I thought I read once that the panther doesn't actually exist. That it's the panther, the cat, the big cat that's known to have that name is actually a black jaguar. Could be wrong. Scientists probably changed that classification. But the last I checked, that was what was going on with those species. One thing that has changed on Shadow Panther versus Panther on the final product versus image of the prototype figure that Hasbro originally showed off is that Shadow Panther now has yellow shoulders. On some of the product photos on the internet, some of the websites that use the product photos from Hasbro on their web pages selling Shadow Panther show that he was originally going to have black shoulders, and you can see the image here of Shadow Panther on the back of the box for his beast mode. You can just barely see there in the gap between his chest and the shoulder of his beast mode front legs. There is the black shoulders from the prototype figure. I personally would have preferred if they had kept the black shoulders instead of giving Shadow Panther these bright yellow shoulders for his robot mode, because it not only further distinguishes him from Cheetor, even though Cheetor's shoulders are blue. Another reason why collectors have been getting Shadow Panther is to use him as a stand-in for the Beast Wars Covert Agent Ravage action figure that Hasbro released exclusively through Hasbro Pulse. That figure has been very hard to find for collectors and very expensive due to its exclusivity. So that's been another driving force for collectors, is having Shadow Panther be a substitute for the official Covert Agent Ravage action figure. So without further delay, let's get Shadow Panther out of his box and take a close look at him in robot mode. Alright, and here is Shadow Panther out of his box and transformed into his robot mode. And as you can see, the only sculpted difference between him and Cheetor is the new head sculpt, which is based off of Cheetor's mutant head. And had Shadow Panther actually appeared in the Beast Wars series, I honestly can't say if the mutant head or the more humanoid head would have been used. Some Transformers fans I've seen with Hasbro repainting Optimus Primal into Nemesis Primal, and spreading the idea that not just Nemesis Prime isn't the only evil black clone of Optimus Prime, that potentially every Transformers character could have an evil clone of themselves. So, seen a handful of Transformers fans make the joke that Shadow Panther could be Cheetor's evil doppelganger, the exact opposite of Cheetor in every way, the same way that Nemesis Prime is the exact opposite of Optimus Prime. And speaking of Cheetor, for a size comparison, here is Shadow Panther next to Cheetor. And one thing you can do to distinguish them is have them hold their weapons in different ways. Technically, the weapon is designed to be held the way Cheetor is, where you have a dagger with a whip coming out on top of it, but if you turn it around, you can have it be like a Stone Age axe with a crooked handle coming out of the bottom of it. However way you hold it at them, unfortunately, the side of the tail that's more hollowed out is the side that will face forward. But yeah, there is Shadow Panther next to Cheetor. Or, again, the one part of Cheetor that wasn't yellow, they made yellow on Shadow Panther. And again, I would have preferred if they had kept the black shoulders here on Shadow Panther. I honestly don't know why they changed the color of Shadow Panther's shoulders, because the bright yellow really does stick out not only in Shadow Panther's robot mode, but if you think it's out of place in robot mode, it's even more out of place in beast mode from what I've seen. And so it kind of takes away from Shadow Panther's uh, ability of being a robot in disguise. But yeah, all in all, I don't know the anatomy of big predatory cats. That's why am I using the word predatory? All cats are carnivores. But yeah, I don't know the anatomy of big cats too well, so I don't know how the physical similarities and differences between panthers and cheetahs, but apparently, the designers at Hasbro and Takara decided that at having a cat that looks just like a cheetah but having all black fur, that was enough to have it be qualified as being a panther instead of a cheetah. It's kind of hard to tell, since the Beast Shadow Panther's beast mode head is entirely black except for the evil red eyes that he has on him. But the beast mode head sculpt is the exact same. The ears are the same size and shape. The noses, the shapes of the eyes are the exact same. So yeah, the only sculpted difference to distinguish Shadow Panther from Cheetor is the different heads. You can see how they're almost the same size and almost the same shape. The main difference is that Cheetor has a more humanoid-looking face with an actual pair of eyes, nose, and a mouth, while Shadow Panther's mutant head honestly looks like he's wearing a cat skull for a face. Hey, so yeah, it's freaky enough that Shadow Panther looks quite intimidating, whereas Cheetor looks very heroic with the different faces. So, with that said, I am not going to do a size comparison of Shadow Panther with Cheetor in Beast Mode because I'm leaving Cheetor transformed into his robot mode for another upcoming review. So I apologize beforehand for not bringing out Kingdom Cheetor for a size comparison with Shadow Panther in Beast Mode, but I will do another size comparison with another deluxe figure when we get Shadow Panther transformed. So let's get him into his Panther mode and wrap up the review. Alright, and here is I almost called him Cheetor. Shadow Panther transformed into his beast mode of a panther or a black jaguar. And as you can see right up here, here's what I meant about saying earlier why I think it would have been better if Hasbro had kept the robot mode shoulders the same shade of black plastic as the rest of Shadow Panther, because it looks like there's no getting over the fact that the joints end up popping out as geometric shapes, so it looks like Shadow Panther has yellow squares and spheres ears around his upper back in beast mode. So yeah, I think the original black shoulders would have helped with him being more of a robot in disguise. His jaw can open and close like Cheetor, so you can get him into a roaring position, and it's my camera's making it look like his teeth are painted gunmetal gray, but you can see right there at that angle they are unpainted black. I think it would have helped if he'd had some white paint on the teeth to at least make him look somewhat like a actual big cat. But yeah, all in all, Shadow Panther does do a pretty decent job, except for those yellow bits, of being a decent enough looking panther. Granted, he has these silver splotches here on his back legs, but then again, Cheetor has blue ones as well. So this is just me making a nitpicking, thinking about how uh, an actual panther in real life is entirely black, and Shadow Panther can't quite pull it off with these yellow and silver high parts of him hanging out about everywhere. But yeah, so one of the main reasons, as I said before, sorry for repeating myself, but one of the main reasons collectors have been getting Shadow Panther is to use him as a substitute for the Covert Ravage figure. A lot of Transformers fans and collectors, I believe in the original Beast Wars line, even though Ravage did appear in the Beast Wars cartoon series, there wasn't an actual figure of him released in the Beast Wars line, so a lot of Beast Wars fans back in the 1990s used Shadow Panther as Covert Ravage. So yeah, for those of you who haven't been able to get the Covert Ravage figure due to its exclusivity, being released only on Hasbro Pulse here in the United States, which is where I find myself, I think Shadow Panther can pass off as being a Beast Wars version of Ravage. Savage, and yeah, with the exception of the parts of him that are done in silver and yellow, I think Shadow Panther, ironically, can be more pull off being more of a robot in disguise than Cheetor because since Shadow Panther is almost entirely black, you don't have too much of a bright light shining on him. His different panel lines can, depending on what angles you look at him, some of the different panel sections and the gaps between his robot different parts that transform him into his robot mode, they can give the illusion of being somewhat hidden. So he does end up looking more like a cat than Cheetor does in a somewhat of an ironic twist. Forgot what I was going to say a moment ago, but oh yeah, that was it. One nice thing about Shadow Panther here is that right up here on top of his back, this part of the torso is held in place by a screw. Screws are almost unseen these days on Transformers figures, but Hasbro in the past has usually used silver colored screws the same way they use silver pins. So to see a black screw there on Shadow Panther's back, that helps him be more of a robot in disguise. So as I said a moment ago, I'm not going to show off Shadow Panther next to Kingdom Cheetor in Beast Mode, but for a size comparison with a figure of Cheetor, here is Shadow Panther next to the Universe Classics Deluxe Class Cheetor figure that was released way back in 2009. This, along with the Deluxe Class Dinobot figure that I showed off in my Dinobot review, these were the first ever modern day updated versions of updated action figures of Beast Wars characters. So yes, you can see how the engineering from 2009 compared to 2021 went into the new Beast Wars action figures in the Kingdom line. And so yeah, Shadow Panther does look quite intimidating, even compared to the old 2009 deluxe class version of Cheetor. But unfortunately, yeah, there's no getting over the fact that this figure is slightly larger than this one. But the criticism of how Hasbro and Takara Tomy have been downsizing Transformers figures aside, to answer the proverbial question, do I recommend getting Shadow Panther and adding him to your Transformers collection? I do recommend Shadow Panther for the reasons I mentioned in the review already. He can be used as a substitute for the Covert Ravage action figure. He can be figure. I recommend getting. The main reason I got Shadow Panther was to increase my Predacon ranks. Again, you can count using the fingers on your hands how many Predacons have actually been released in the Transformers Kingdom line, Shadow Panther included. So, all in all, not the even though he's not one of the more sought after figures of the Transformers Kingdom line, the way Voyager class Cyclonus, Leader class Galvatron, or even Core class Soundwave have been sought after Transformers figures, I still think Shadow Panther is worth getting. I've seen Shadow Panther shell forming at my local Target store. Transformers fans haven't been as excited for Shadow Panther as they have for the other Beast Wars characters, but I do recommend getting him if you can. You will not regret adding Shadow Panther to your Transformers collection. So thank you guys all so much. This has been the TFN Geek, and remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.